I'm here with my girl Vanessa. Are you there?
I am. What's up, family? I'm so happy to be here. Day one.
Listen, y'all. I just kept repeating, "Dear God, I'm here." I was like, "Dear God, I'm here." Alice Walker is a genius.
Yeah.
She really is a genius, Vanessa. And I just think with what's going on in the world right now, that part of what our assignment is to just be here and to be present and to witness the walk that Black women are taking right now on this planet, and to do it together collectively. So I'm so excited. I feel so blessed. I want to say, wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever walk of life, whatever continent you're on, whatever you call yourself, I just want you to know that you are welcome here. I want you to know that we are Girl Trek, that we are a million Black women who walk for better health, and that we are cheering you on and walking by you, and that no one ever walks alone. You did not find this self-care school by accident, and you are welcome here, and this is a part of a chosen few who are about to walk into a new horizon and a new liberation and a new freedom for our people. Yes. So I'm excited to welcome you. V, what's on your mind today?
What's on my mind is congratulating the women who took the first step. It took so much for a woman to choose herself, to choose this 30 minutes, to choose to say no to all of the other demands and requirements of the day, to choose for many women, because this is a new experience, to try something brand new that maybe doesn't, might seem weird or crazy. Like, what is this? I'm a walk, I'm a talk, and what is Girl Trek? Just what's on my mind is just like, just congratulating women. It's the single most powerful thing that we can do every single day is to choose ourselves and to choose time for ourselves. And Girl Trek was founded, I think, on that principle, Morgan, of just a radical 30 minutes and how that radical 30 minutes stacked up day over day could change your life. So just congratulations to every single woman who chose herself at this moment.
There are so many people who got a link from a friend who's a sister's keeper, who's like, what is this? Who is these people? So Vanessa, who are we? Who are you? I can share more about myself, but who are you and what is Girl Trek? And can you talk to the people who are for the first time ever on self-care school trying to learn and orient themselves?
Yeah. I am Vanessa, the daughter of Annette, who is the daughter of Olympia, who's the daughter of Melvina, who was the daughter of Katie. I'm the daughter of the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, Washington, born and bred, 206 in the house. West Coast for life. I am a lover of adventure and outdoors, and I'm a true sister and a loyal friend to folks, and I've known Morgan for more than 30 years now. We met way back in LA in college, and we were rocking long and hard before we even got into this game of co-founding Girl Trek together. And I'm also now a part of a national staff that is almost 30 deep of women who work alongside Morgan and I now to help bring to life. And Girl Trek is the largest health movement for Black women in the world. We are a powerful network of everyday periods of our communities who have decided that, like, not on our watch are we gonna die, not on our watch are our daughters gonna die, and every single day we lace up our sneakers and we walk outside of our front doors, and it is a radical declaration for us that we won't be stopped and that we are here. So that's who I am. That's who I am. Who are you, Morgan?
Thank you for asking. I'm Morgan. I am daughter of Carol. I am who's the daughter of Letha, who is the daughter of, I haven't done this in a long time, Sarah. Oh, good Lord. Sarah, who's my grandma? What's my grandmother name?
Your grandma,
okay. Letha. Okay, Letha's grandma was, I'm gonna get back to y'all. I'm gonna come back next week strong with my daughters.
No, this is a good lesson though, Morgan, because a lot of women don't even know that we have this tradition called Daughters of, where we try to name as far back in our maternal lineage as we can, or even not if it's your bloodline. A lot of women just name women who they are inspired by, but it's a powerful opportunity for you if you want to learn of the names of the women in your bloodline to really think who is the daughter of who was the daughter of as far back as you could go. So I feel like I could almost say yours for you, Morgan, but now I can't.
You can't. I know, because it's been so long. It's been a long week, y'all. Listen, I'm going to come back with my full Daughters of story. And part of what happened is my grandmother's mother had so much tragedy that I just learned about that I think psychically I've been trying to block that in my life. She died really prematurely from violence. And so, but I'm coming back and I'm going to name her. And as we talk about this, I invite you to name your mother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your great-great-grandma. Some of y'all might be able to go all the way back to the continent of Africa, just naming foremothers who survived so that you can be walking today. And then if you don't know your mother's name, that's all right. You can say, I am daughter of Harriet Tubman, daughter of Fannie Lou Hamer, daughter of Sojourner Truth, daughter of Betty Shabazz. Or you could just go on and on and on, which brings me to, if you are new to this is a walking podcast. So this is different than other podcasts. This is an opportunity to walk in solidarity with over 1 million Black women for 30 minutes a day. So all the science says that if you walk 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, that you can increase your life expectancy by 7 years. So Girl Trek's mission is to increase the life expectancy of Black women by 10 years, starting this year, in 10 years, ending in 2035. So that's our mission. It's called the 10 and 10 mission, to increase the life expectancy of Black women by 10 years in 10 years. Now, if you was good in arithmetic and back in the 4th, 5th grade, you like, well, 7 and 10, we missing some years, right?
Yeah, do the math.
Do the math.
Gonna break it down.
Well, listen, if you're walking every day, 30 minutes, 5 days a week, you are already 7 years ahead. So that's what you should know, and we're going to keep you accountable to your commitment to yourself. And as you walk, we're going to talk about the other 3 years and simple things you can do. Everything from, I just learned that flossing can increase your life expectancy by 5 years. Sleeping 8 hours a day. I mean, so many things you can do, and we're going to tell you all the self-care secrets, all of the wisdom from our foremothers, all the secret sauce, the life hacks, and all the science. We're going to just go over it, and we're going to just teach it to one another. We are not experts. Please consult your doctor before you do this. Please do know that we are your sisters, and we are your sisters' keepers. So first of all, if you're not out walking, please lace up your sneakers. Open your front door, feel the sunshine on your face. And even if you walk to the end of your driveway, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, I encourage you to get outside just by the end of this podcast today. Part of what we are doing here today, so this is your orientation, day one. Part of what we're doing is we are lifting up the names of our foremothers. So every single episode, you will hear a story of who we are walking for from Black history. You will also get the opportunity to earn a foremother badge. So every single week that you walk 30 minutes a day, 5 out of the 7 days, you just have to walk 5 out of the 7 days. Every week you do that, we give you a high five. We say, you walked 5 days this week, girl. High five. It's called a high five week. And every time you get a high five week, we give you a foremother badge. So think back when you used to be in Girl Scouts, or you wanted to be, but they didn't have it in your neighborhood.
We wanted to be, but we could, right. We wanted to be all, now we can. We can officially get us some buttons and some patches. And this is one of the things I'm most excited about. One, I love dressing like other people. So one of the best things about Girl Trek is that we got a uniform. Yeah, I do. Twin Day, that was me. So I'm excited about the badges, Morgan. I'm excited to earn them. I'm excited to think about moms and daughters earning them, or like sisters and cousins, or just like across families, people earning them. I'm excited to rock them. I'm excited that we're introducing something new to the culture. Like, it's really something new to and for the culture. And this is how legacies start to get built. And we sometimes don't know like where things actually started, but this is the foundation. So this is going to be the first class of women who even ever earned these badges, ever put them on a jacket or a backpack, ever. So I'm just excited about it.
They're going to go down in history. I mean, some of you may know us from when we had the privilege of interviewing Angela Davis and Nikki Giovanni, and I will forever be grateful for that honor, and rest in peace. Nikki Giovanni, who told us, walk together, children, and don't you get weary. So that is our call to action. That's what she said on that interview. But one of the things it reminds me of is Angela Davis, when she was locked up. One more thing. Some of you guys might know us from Black History Boot Camp, and we did an excellent episode on Angela Davis. And when she got locked up, they had these free Angela buttons. And I just imagine that mothers and daughters pass that kind of, these kind of tokens of our liberation and revolution on to each other, and that these badges will be a part of that legacy. So I'm excited about this, V. That's who I am. Okay, who am I? I am originally from Wichita, Kansas. So if you hear a little bit of country, that's what that is. But then I moved to California. So if you hear a little bit of Valley Girl, a little bit of Kendrick Lamar's girlfriend, that's me. That's me. And I just, I am just in my walk of life trying to figure out, I mean, every day I'll be reading the Bible and then reading about Buddha, and that tells you almost everything you need to know about me. Like, I just am curious, I am loving. And, you know, it's interesting because I was like, my favorite memories from Girl Trek are two, Vanessa. They were like, not my favorite memories because I have a lot more, but the things that stand out. One is, well, three. We went to the White House to see Michelle Obama, remember that?
Yes.
Oprah Winfrey had invited me to something, and then she had her arm around me. She's like, "Girl, I know who you are," and I was like, "What? Say what?" So that was a highlight. I can't front. Shout out to Oprah. Thank you for that love, and thank you for touching my back when you knew I felt like an outsider in that room. I just really love when people fulfill your dreams for who they might be, and Oprah certainly did that. She was so supportive. But Vanessa, I have to tell you, when we went to that Church of God in Christ conference, and we stood up on that stage, my mom was so proud, okay? And I just felt like I have arrived. I don't have to do nothing else. So I'm really grateful for that. As we think about celebrity moments, I was thinking about how we manifested this years ago. Self-care school, Vanessa. Yeah. And I remember when I wrote it on the paper. I specifically remember because we were trying to create a script because you were going down to Essence Festival. Yeah. I remember writing it on the paper like this, maybe we could just say this. And it was kind of out of the blue, self-care school. Yeah. And then you got you some media passes and then you went backstage. And then tell us what happened.
Look, I was back there, y'all, representing. First of all, I ran into Ayanna Van Zant right away, who told me she was a member to check her roles, and it just goes to show who was walking alongside of us, and it goes to show that every single Black woman, no matter what heights we've ascended to, we need sisterhood, we need community, we need support. So I'm so grateful that Girl Trek can be that for so many women. I talked to Queen Latifah. She was like, shout out to Self-Care School. She did a promo for us. Kofi Sarobi and his fine self. Come on, shout out to Remy Ma, Stacey Abrams. Yeah, it was like such a good amalgamation, I guess, or a good diverse set of folks. And literally every person one of my favorite memory of Girl Trek is talking to people every day about Girl Trek. I'm not kidding. Like, when I tell people or run into them or talk to them about it, like, they're just so inspired. And I remember specifically so many people being inspired, and so many people, we specifically asked them, what were the self-care secrets? I specifically asked them, what were the self-care secrets that your mother passed down? And I remember that Queen Latifah said her mother passed down laughter. And and that matters, because even over these 10 weeks, one of the things that I'm hoping that we do over these 10 weeks is dispel the myths that we don't have everything that we need to survive, or that we don't have access to the knowledge, or that we don't have a rich history of like knowledge and practice and things that have been good for us, because that's so false. And so much of what I think we've been taught today about popular medicine or and how to get well is about going outside of ourselves and outside of our communities. But just to remember that our mothers laughed and they hummed, and that there was science in that, and that there was healing in that, and that it was our bodies really connecting in a really powerful way. I'm excited to explore that and so many more things like that.
That's fantastic. All right, sisters, this is Orientation Week, and today we are devoting the episode to something that we call a self-care audit. A self-care audit is a real assessment of where you are, and we do this every couple of weeks or every couple of months just to make sure that we're taking good care of ourselves. It will be a series of questions, about 20 or so questions that we ask, and we will ask you to step forward or step back. So this is a moment to pause in your walk, find a safe space to pull to the side. If you're in the park, you can just pull to the side, and we will start to ground ourselves. If you're inside, I invite you outside. You can do it in your driveway, but we are about to begin the self-care audit. This score can change, or this audit can change month over month, or even sometimes week over week, as we get more mindful about how we're treating ourselves. So don't go too hard on yourselves in this first round, but it's a good assessment, a good audit of where you are right now. My hope and prayer for all of us is that we will be in a much better place in 10 weeks together. So here it is. This exercise will last about 10 minutes. This is an activity of deep personal reflection. There's only 3 rules. 1, for the next 10 minutes, we ask you just to remain silent in your own self-talk. So quiet down your self-criticism or the critic inside, just turn her voice all the way down. You're good enough and this is not judgment. And number two, be totally honest with yourself. Totally honest. And number three, if you're doing this in a group with your friends, maybe you're all walking together, just promise not to cast judgment on one another. Not even, sometimes we cast judgment with jokes or with looks or with size or with a teeth sucks, but we really want this to be a safe space. So those are the three rules. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready, Morgan, and let me say, this is the perfect time right now to share this podcast, this walk and talk with your friends, family, somebody who you're like, ooh, they need to do this self-care audit, so that y'all can even debrief after this lesson and talk about like your own feelings, your own emotions, what you experience, and reflect together. This is the perfect opportunity and the perfect tool to share with as many people as possible.
Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Take a deep inhale. And let it out like we did. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We are here. We are here. All right. The first question. If you got more than 6 hours of sleep last night, take a step forward.
If you make it a point to eat breakfast at home every morning, take a step forward.
Human touch matters. If someone has greased your scalp or rubbed your back in the last week, take a step forward.
If you've taken a vacation in the last 6 months, take a giant leap forward.
If you did 30 minutes of exercise yesterday, take a step forward.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, if y'all doing it right now, just go ahead and take that step forward. Be like, this is my 30 minutes. All right. If you carved out time to pray or meditate in the last 24 hours, take a step forward.
Oh, this next one. If you care for your children, your spouse, your partner, or your parents better than you care for yourself, take a step back.
If you gossip or talk critically about others when they are not around, be honest about this, by the way, take a big step back.
If you are in a romantic relationship now that does not serve you or light you up, take a step back.
If your anger regularly boils over with loved ones, if you crash out, y'all, one too many times, take a step back.
If you dislike your job, your marriage, or your lifestyle, take a step back.
If you have credit card debt, take a step back.
If you've had your annual pap smear or mammogram this year, take a step forward.
If you took time to cook a meal in the last 24 hours, take a step forward.
If you watched more than 3 hours of TV yesterday or scrolled on social media for more than 3 hours yesterday, take a step back.
If you've eaten a hearty serving of fresh fruits or vegetables today, take a step forward.
If you have more than 5 good friends who you can send this to, take a step forward.
If you have told yourself that you are ugly or not good enough today, or talked critically about yourself at all, take a step back.
If you have safely ended an abusive relationship, take a proud step forward.
If you have ordered food from a drive-through window in the last 24 hours, I'm going to say in the last week. If you've ordered food from a drive-through window in the last week, take a step back.
That's me. If you regularly practice a personal hobby that you love, like painting or singing, that brings you great joy, take a step forward.
In the last month, this is me, y'all, if you've eaten yourself into a coma Maybe had a root beer float one or too many. We call that the itis. Take a step back.
If you smoke cigarettes or drink alcohol daily, take a step back.
This me too. If you have a fulfilling sex life, y'all, take a big step forward.
If you drank a soda or sugary drink today, take a step back.
All right. If you suffer from a preventable disease, type 2 diabetes, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, take a step back.
If you have reversed a chronic disease by eating better and exercising, take a step forward.
Think back to the last time you laughed so hard you cried or that your belly ached. And if it was this week, take a step forward.
Take a step back if you can't remember the last time you went out dancing. If you saved dancing at the church. Sorry. I thought about my sister. She was like, ooh, the saints don't dance now. But they do. My mom used to be shouting. But take a step back if you don't remember the last time you went out with your girls and had a good time. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, if you're actively looking for a life partner online, if you're getting dressed, and to Morgan's point, if you're going out to find somebody, maybe with your girls, if you're going on blind dates, take a big step forward.
All right, y'all, for the last question of the self-care audit. Take one giant step forward if you are committed to finishing self-care school and earning your Harriet Tubman badge and your golden shoelaces. Take a big step forward. Woohoo!
Comment yes.
All of you took a
Comment
step
yes.
forward. I'm committed. And that's
Committed.
just a teaser. Listen, what's in store for us is incredible. I mean, classes start next Monday. We are going to have content that is everything from how to reset your body to how to have a healthy mind, how to heal your family, your finances, your home, get land, get political. I mean, every single week is just hard hitting around different things that you will learn to care for your body, care for your family, and care for your community. We have special guests that are coming on, co-host. We have incredible music. We're having guest DJs. Y'all, it's about to be so crunk for 30 minutes, right? And so, like, you will want to be a part of this. It's going to go down in history. Self-care school. The civil rights movement had freedom schools. We have self-care school. It's a moment, and we need this. So, Vanessa, I know that this is the beginning of orientation week. Can you tell everybody walking with us what orientation week is going to feel like?
Yes, absolutely. We all need an orientation week, y'all. Orientation week is the time, think about how it was in school. You went out and you got your peaches together, you got your school clothes together, you got everything that the things where you put your papers inside. I call them peaches. I don't know what other people call them, but
A trapper keeper?
yeah, it's like a trapper keeper.
A trapper keeper. She said peaches.
Basketball. I call
A
them
trapper
peaches.
keeper.
But yes, all those things is what orientation week is for us.
To wrap up our books with paper bags.
Right.
Yes, that was the most important part of school for me, for the record. Yes, I would save up all the comic book sections of the newspaper so I could wrap mine perfectly in comic book sections. So yes,
that's cute. All of our Gen Z are like, what?
I know.
Look,
You can't cheat self-care school by Googling ChatGPT. I just want to let y'all know you cannot advance for these 10 weeks. ChatGPT will not help you. It will not get out there and do your walks for you.
You gotta do your own
You
work.
have to do them for yourself. And for us, for this week, which will count, y'all, this is going to be 5 days of walking this week. And this week, you just did your 30 minutes. We're at the end of this call. And this was the self-care audit, day 1. Tomorrow, we're going to go over the life expectancy calculator, like all of the actual numbers and things that we actually need to know to understand how this is going to be improving our life expectancy. On the 3rd day of orientation week, we're going to meet the homegirls, meet the teachers, meet the women from our community who are going to be joining Morgan and I along this 10-week journey to walk and talk with us. Then we're going to pack our bags. So how do I track self-care school? Where do I get my badges? All of the practical things that you need to know. And then we're going to end the week with our top 10, the best advice that we have gotten, I'm talking about from the heavy hitters, because we've talked to some folks. I'm talking about Oprah. I'm talking about Ayana Van Zandt. I'm talking about oh, can't say who it is. Okay, just know that we're going to bring in and pull from all of the great advice.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler.
Sorry, spoiler alert. We're going to pull together all of the best advice that we have gotten over the years that have informed Self-Care School, and we're going to share it with you all as a pep rally to get us going before the first day of class.
All right, so we're going to set our intentions, and Vanessa, I'm curious to know what your intentions are for the week, and I encourage everyone listening to set their own intentions, not just for this week, but for the next 10 weeks together. What's your intentions for the next 10 weeks, Vanessa?
My intentions are to celebrate myself every single day that I actually show up, to just know that I did it, to celebrate myself, to feel really good about it, and to not try to go the extra mile beyond that, which is what I sometimes try to do, but just to know that the 30 minutes every single day that I give to Self-Care School is worthy of celebration. What about you?
Mine is, I'm going to keep it real simple, Vanessa. I'm going to try to keep a consistent time to walk. And I've already dedicated my walking. I lost my uncle. Uncle Benny, shout out to you. And I want to dedicate this to him. And so I just want to be consistent. I need a little bit more discipline in my life. And so I want to just walk at the same time every day. So that's my goal, is to, and for me, that's early in the morning, because I just feel, it feels magical to walk in the morning, so I really enjoy it.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Morgan. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the first day Self-Care School. The doors are open and we are here. We're going to close out this conversation, this walk, with a beautiful original song that a homegirl in our community, a member, her name is Angela, did for us. It's the perfect song. It's called You Are Enough. If you're kind of holding anything in your body or your spirit from the self-care audit, from just what we talked about today, just remember that you are enough. Hold this energy inside of your body, and we'll check back in with you tomorrow.
Tubers, I think I need to put you all on mute.
We're excited, y'all. Orientation week.
Yeah, I think I need to mute y'all for this, but I'll be right back. me. All right. Tubers, I can let you back in because I think I'll get flagged over here. So I don't want to be getting flagged. So on that note, we're going to shut this down. And yeah, if you were here for the entire orientation, let me know what you think. First of all, are you committed? Did you make your commitment to self-care school? And if you're just joining, thank you so much. That's Infinite One. I think that's what it is. Thank you so much for being here. So if you're just joining, I am Coach Robin Renee, your hostess in the Self-Care Suite, where we come and discuss the many ways to you did? Okay. So this is where we come to discuss the many ways to wellness. We share useful, sustainable, cost-effective self-care strategies because financial challenges should not prevent you from investing in your wellness account. Because what? We got self-care at home. We got self-care at home. So that's what we're coming here for. That recording that you just heard was from an organization called Girl Trek. I am a member of Girl Trek. I've been a member of Girl Trek since 2012. It started with two friends, and that was Morgan and Vanessa. They are the co-founders of Girl Trek. We are the largest global health movement for Black women. We encourage women to get out and walk at least 30 minutes a day. It does have scientific basis for that because those 30 minutes of rigorous movement, or, in our particular case of walking a day, at least 5 times a week. You can do it 7 times a week, but it has been shown to increase your life expectancy at least by 7 years. If you start to add that into, like your nutrition, if you started adding it into, if you added a different form of exercise, but just walking alone can give you an upper hand. It can give you those step forwards that they were talking about in the self-care audit. There is no judgment. The goal is to get women out and moving. A lot of times isolation is one of the things that prevent women from going out. There's also, a fear depending on the neighborhood that you're in. And that's why, part of the reasons why Girl Trek has resonated with so many people across the world, because Girl Trek provides you with those resources that you may not have on your own. So you never have to feel alone. I am a solo trekker. So I've been a solo trekker since 2012. I may join a group every now and then, but I'm an early bird. So if somebody's not ready to go out, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm gone. But that's also a time, that feeds into my wellness, my spiritual, my psychological, my emotional, all of that. So I get that in my time in the morning. So a lot of times I am listening to the recordings. And self-care school, don't ask me why I didn't remember, but I didn't remember until recently. We were talking about something else on another live to bring that here to the self-care suite. Why reinvent the wheel? The wheel is already rolling. So self-care school did start in the beginning of our season, which is April 1st, the beginning of our outdoor season, April 1st. Our season kickoff is on Harriet Tubman Day, which is March 10th. And so if you want to learn about Girl Trek, go to girltrek.org. You can get the history of Girl Trek. You can get a calendar. But for self-care school, if you're in here, I do want you to go to myselfcareschool.org. We're doing more or less reviewing of what's occurring. But once you're enrolled in self-care school, it's free. Girl Trek is free to join. The self-care school, it's just one way for you to remain accountable. You can also leave your testimonies. You can leave comments. You can leave prayer requests. All of those different things, and they will pull them out. Morgan and Vanessa, they're really good with that. There's a dynamic team, behind the movement. They'll pull those things out. You may get a phone call. You may get called into the live. You may get called into a live broadcast. So if you can catch them live, then walk with them live. But if not, you can always do the recording. So there's always something for you to do. So now we're the first Sunday in May. So we're not behind. We're starting from day one because I don't want to just jump in and then have you to go back. We're going to literally just go through this. And if it takes us just here, now still enroll in self-care school so you can get your badges and then you can be ready to hit that finish line in June. So Juneteenth is the marker. So that's when the 10 weeks will be up. Juneteenth, there's going to be a big celebration. You can volunteer. There are Girl Trek groups all over. You name a state, you name a city, Girl Trek is there. And if for whatever reason there's not a Girl Trek population near where you are, you can start your own. It's really simple. It's as simple as you sending out a group text message and saying, look, y'all, I need somebody to walk with. Do you want to come walk with me? And then if you got people, because we have women that are in the movement, they have people that are like, girl, no, I'm not going outside. I don't feel like doing all that. You still have your Girl Trek sisters. So think about that. Over 1 million Black women. And it started from 2. You can check it now, Crystal. In fact, I would say go ahead. Go to myselfcareschool.org and then, do the enrollment. But the main website is girltrek.org. Again, it started from 2 friends. It started from 2 friends who got tired of seeing the Black women in their lives under 60 years old, some under 50 years old, dying from these preventable diseases. And they put out the challenge to their friends. It was a 10-week challenge. After the 10-week challenge was over, the friends were like, so what's up? What we doing? Where are we going from there? And that's how it grew. It grew just from those 2 friends. But what the mission that they were on was to improve the life expectancy of Black women. But it wasn't targeted the way that it is now, because even through the years with Girl Trek growing, Black women are still dying off. Black women are still dying off. So they got real. You heard Vanessa, but that's fun. You'll get to know them, through these different podcasts. Vanessa with the spilling the beans. So you saw how excited she was. But they've been, talking to some heavy hitters. Surgeon General, former Surgeon General. She's one of the board members. So it's some heavy hitters that knows the scientific theories and the scientific proof that is behind what walking can do for the body. Above all, walking is revolutionary. If you think about the number of things that have been taken care of through walking, that's where the protests come from. The civil rights movement. Mother Harriet, she's one of the foundations for the actual movement. We are the daughters of Harriet. And if then nobody do no walking to save some people and to get free, it was Mother Harriet. But she had her system. She had what we call the Tubman Doctrine. She saved herself first. She got to freedom and she saw how good that freedom felt. And she was like, wait a minute, let me go back and get my people, because they need this. They need this, and let me go back and get my people. But she also didn't play no games. She wasn't interested in no shenanigans. Hey, beautiful. She was also not interested in no games, no shenanigans, malarkey, and foolishness. And if you brought fear into what she was doing, thank you so much for getting your heart need, for joining the Melanation or renewing your heart need. If you brought that energy, that nervous energy, she couldn't take you with her. She couldn't take you with her, because energy travels, and that's what Girl Trek knows. That's what we know. We are energetic beings. Thank you so much, you all. Thank you so much. And that's what we know, that we are energetic beings. And so Girl Trek, like I said, I've been down since 2012, and I have no regrets. I don't look back. I mean, some of the most profound experiences that I've had in my life were through Girl Trek. So how I became involved in Girl Trek, I've been involved in in fitness, in wellness since 1989, officially in fitness since 2002. So I was doing my own thing with my own business, and, my friends would think I was doing too much, right? Like, you do too much, but really they just wasn't doing enough. I'm just saying, no judgment, but we were just on different paths. They wanted to do what I was doing, but then there was this hesitation because they would be afraid to do some of the things that I was doing. Never too much, not for yourself. I know that's right. Yes. Never too much for yourself. And so when I saw an article, Sandria Washington was one of the Girl Trek representatives in Chicago at the time. She posted on Facebook a walk in Washington Park. So I sent it to all my friends. I'm like, would y'all go walking? And they was like, well, how long are we going to walk? I don't know. I don't even know this lady. I just saw the post. She said it's walking. Let's go. So, my friends, me and my friends, we went down there to Washington Park and we did that walk. That was in May. I want to say it was Memorial Day weekend, or I know it was towards the end of May in 2012. In 2012, we did the walk, everybody survived, we talked afterwards, and she started telling us about the organization of Girl Trek. And so, and some of my friends are still the honorary Girl Trek, because they walk sometimes and then sometimes they don't, but that's okay. That's what Girl Trek is about. We are not always in the position, psychologically, mentally, spiritually, financially, in those spaces where we feel, good enough to get out and walk. That's what Girl Trek is built on. That's the premise. We're going to get down to those issues. And Girl Trek has a team, our Self-Care Crusader squad. It's like customer service or whatever it is that's going on with you. You call that number and they're going to connect you with somebody. So it's not just some people just getting out there and not know what they're doing. They got heavy hitters. Thank you so much for the heart me. They got heavy hitters on, not they, we got heavy hitters on the team. So anyway, so that was my introduction to Girl Trek. And so Vanessa, so if you were here and you heard the recording, Vanessa, the one that was spilling the beans, she came to Chicago first. And so she asked Sandria at the time to pick 7 women who she felt would be able to help move the Girl Trek mission forward. And I was one of the 7 women. And so we went and, we went downtown and we met with her, and she was, telling us about the movement and the different things, that were planned. So this was like in the beginning stages, because they were maybe a year old at the time. I think maybe a year old. Girl Trek was a year old. And so when she started sharing that stuff with us, and so we had this joke, like, I don't know if you ever heard the joke, but I think Jamie Foxx kind of made it popular, like with Prince, you can't look into his eyes because he gonna get you. So Vanessa has those doe eyes, like Prince. And it's just like she's just mesmerized. I mean, beautiful, both of them are beautiful Black women. Vanessa has that quiet storm quality to her, because she ain't no punk. So don't think, and she's, like Prince, she's small in stature, but she ain't no punk. But anyway, so that was just kind of our joke. Like, she got you, like she got us, with them eyes, she has those doe eyes. And it was just her passion about what she was doing in this particular movement that drew me in. I'm going to say us, but I don't want to speak for the other 6 women that were there, but it drew me in to say, okay, I'm already doing this. They're already doing this. They have an opportunity to take this thing global. Let me bring my gifts over to this movement. So that's, I was like, okay, I'll come over to the movement. And at the time, we had a thing called Roll Call on Saturdays. Saturdays used to be called Superhero Saturdays. Now they're called Sisterhood Saturdays, but you're still superheroes. So it's still there. But at that time, it was Superhero Saturday, and our nationwide roll call was at 9 a.m. Well, 9 a.m. to me is like 1 or 2 o'clock to somebody else. Like, 9 o'clock? Like, you really? You want me to walk at 9 o'clock? Do you know how many things I would have had done by 9 o'clock? So I was kind of like I'm not gonna say a rebel, but I just wasn't really traditional in the beginning. Because what I was doing was trying to get people to get up and to get out earlier. But I had to accept that at least the community that I was building at the time, they weren't trying to get up that early. And so I had to make some adjustments, and it was a back and forth, back and forth, like a Leah type of thing. It was a back and forth kind of thing. Because I'm like, listen, if you want me and you want me to be at my best, folks need to be up. I mean, 6 is good. You said exactly right, Swaggy. 6 is, 7, you pushing it. If you go past 8 o'clock to start with me, that's the problem. That's the problem. Well, it used to be, because I'm in a different space now. But at that time, so I'm just giving you my story of how I joined Girl Trek. So we kind of went back and forth. So I was like, okay, can I just dial back a couple out? So then, we kind of agreed on between 7 and 8. So I was like, sometimes 7, sometimes 7:30, sometimes 8. So, I tried that. Some people had some excitement. They came out. And then, as life would have it, life was life, and people started falling off. So I'm like, okay, I tried to tell y'all, people ain't serious. But again, that was me growing and me understanding, my mission in the movement. At the time, I didn't know, because remember, I didn't know these people. This lady just came with these little doe eyes, and she said, so I was like, okay, I'm going to agree to it. And I did make a commitment. I'm like, okay, so let's just work this out. I tried the 9 o'clock a couple times. Like, for me, it was like really throwing me. It really was. Like, honestly, that 9 o'clock was throwing me. And this is when we were building up Trek teams. And so the goal was to get those 7 women to build up a strong Trek team so we can get out. And my team wasn't teaming. It just wasn't. It just wasn't teaming. So then I just kept going out. I kept going out solo. I kept posting, and I kept, moving forward with the mission. Like, okay, this is my job. This is what I'm going to do. And then maybe, we'll get some people. And then we had a pretty strong team pre-COVID for, you can hear me? Okay. A pretty strong team for those, years building up to that. But then I had to realize, as the movement began to grow more, we went on different trainings, we went, I got to backtrack. A significant part of Girl Trek is the Adventure Squad. So I'm one of the Adventure Squad hike leaders. And so Girl Trek wanted to get out into the green space, out into the outdoor industry, but had to train people, women had to train us in order to be these hike leaders, because initially it was just Morgan and Vanessa going out all across the country. It was called the Summer Trek Series, and they would be going from coast to coast, like literally just them doing all these hikes. And they realized, you know what, we're not going to be able to do all this by ourselves. And so that's where we came in. That's when we were trained in 2015 as the Adventure Squad. So we're the hike leaders. And if you know anything about Girl Trek, or if you've ever been out with Girl Trek, if you've ever been to a stress protest, I'm the lady that the people be mad at, because you're not going out with me if you don't have your right equipment on. That's just so. So if you out here, you can be like, I know she looked familiar. Yeah, I'm the hike lady. I'm the hike lady that tell you no. If you don't have the right footwear, if you don't have the right hydration, if you don't have the right clothing, yeah. That is me, she is I. But it's about your safety. When we take people out as the Adventure Squad, you're literally putting your lives in our hands. We're in mountains. We 10,000 feet, above sea level. So you're talking about an elevation of 10,000 feet, 11,000 feet, 8,000 feet. We start off at 8,000 feet and then we go up from there. You're on a literal mountain, a real mountain. And if you get to slipping down because you decided to come with some chucks on, yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. And we're just not going to take you out like that. We're not going to take you out unprepared, because then that puts you in danger, which puts the whole group in danger, which gives us an additional liability. And you heard what Morgan said. There are a lot of things that are preventable. It's preventable. You just come prepared. So anyway, so the Adventure Squad was formed in 2015. And so as Girl Trek began to grow across the country, then it started to grow around the world. Morgan is a dual. What's up, Florida? What's up, Florida? We got a big presence in Florida too. Morgan is a dual citizen now. So she moved over to Ghana and, got Girl Trek Ghana. And we already had a few people over there in Ghana. And so we have Ghana, we got Jamaica, we got Costa Rica, we have oh, thank you so much. Yeah, please keep tapping the screen. One of our trekkers who's from Chicago was in Saudi Arabia for a while, and she was over there trekking, in Saudi Arabia. So, and different people, we have military members, medical professional, members. So we do have people from all walks of life that are moving this mission forward. And so Bricks with Knob, hello, thank you for joining. So we do understand the importance of getting from behind the 8 ball, and if we can use something as useful, as sustainable as walking, and as accessible as walking, that's what we're going to hone in on, because that, again, it makes the playing field a little bit more level. Now, there are some people who are in neighborhoods where it's not a walkable neighborhood. You have like streets, that are broken up, and, shout out to Pam. We got Pavement Pounding Pam in Denver, and she got them streets fixed. Because she works with a lot of seniors. And so she went to all the people in the city who she needs to go. And so if you're in Denver, you know about Pam, Pam got the streets fixed so they can get out there and walk. She was very, very serious. And so those are the type of women that are behind this movement. And so we do have those people who want to come in and, want to criticize, the movement, but we already know, we know what we're doing. So you don't have to come in like this has been proven. This has been proven. Okay, we're going back to Mother Harriet. It has been proven that walking can save our lives. We've seen it. We've seen it too many times. We've seen it too many times to doubt it. Now it's time to put all of that stuff in motion. So what the self-care school is doing is taking it back to the basics. Again, you can get, what did Vanessa call it? A peachy. Yeah, but if you need to get a trapper keeper, get a trapper keeper. If you use a journal, go ahead and journal those things, because you're gonna have to tap deep into who you are and where you are on all of those levels in order to get honest about what it is that you're doing or what it is that you're not doing. And it's not cute. We're gonna give it to you in the raw. It's not cute to just fix yourself up on the outside. But I will say this, if what you have in terms of the amount of energy that you have, if all you have enough energy to do is to fix yourself up on the outside so that you can present in a way that doesn't show what you like, what I've been through, I don't look like what I've been through. If that's what you have to hold on to, go ahead. Work with that, but use that as a stepping stone. Use that as a foundation to start to build, to really, really get into a space where you are putting one foot in front of the other and walking towards your healthiest, most fulfilled life. That is the mission. That is the goal of Girl Trek. There is no charge to join the movement. There's no charge. You go to girltrek.org. That's GIRLTREK.org. There is no charge for the information you have before. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So there's no charge to join the movement. And for self-care school, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that in this self-care suite because I want to make sure, doing my part with the platforms that I have to let people know about what's going on. Again, you go to myselfcareschool.org so that you can get in and you get your own badges. You can listen to the live podcast, so you don't have to wait until each Sunday with me in order for you to know what's going on. I started from day one. We want to hit orientation. We're only here in the self-care suite on Sundays. So the route that we're taking may take us out throughout the entire summer, and that's okay. But I want you to actually get into self-care school. Again, that's free. It's just an accountability tool. It's an accountability resource so that you're not out there alone. And if you want to be able to keep track of your thing, there are different apps. Girl Trek has an app, different apps for you to put all of your biometrics in so that you'll know if you're doing the things you need to do. If you want to check your BMI, your blood pressure, all those things, those manual things that we can do. Again, we want to put you in the most powerful position to take care of yourself. And just like Morgan was saying, there are all these different, medical. Let me give my disclaimer. This is for entertainment purposes only. This is for entertainment purposes only. Make sure you always consult your medical professional before you start any form of physical activity, any physical program. So yeah. So there are a lot of medical, people who may look at, what we're doing as, I don't really know. I don't really know how effective that's going to be, but we already know it's a money thing. We're in the U.S., so I don't know if, people are here from other parts of the globe, but in the U.S., big pharma is big dollars to us, So the thing that you will be given more than likely initially is a prescription. Is a prescription where you can go to a pharmacy where you can get something, as opposed to having those real conversations about, well, what is it that you're not doing? Some people don't realize that lack of sleep, that increases your cortisol level, which, that gangster fat that don't be going nowhere, that thick fat that just come and sit right there. That's cortisol playing at night, right? So you're not, or if you're up, just like Morgan was talking about, taking a detox from scrolling all night. If you're up all night and you got, the activity, the blue light, and activity going into your brain, and you're up all night long, your heart is still pumping, right? Your brain is still working. Like, you're not allowing your body to come down off of that. You have to allow your body time to get some rest. Now, do you have to get 8 hours of sleep? I don't know, because I'm not in your body. Not everyone needs a full 8 hours of sleep. And that's where you come in as an individual to determine what's good for you. But everybody needs rest. You do need quality rest. Sometimes you can rest without going to sleep, but a part of that rest is unplugging. A part of that rest is just pulling away from those things that keep us up 24/7. The way our society is moving, and then with the whole AI and the chat GPT and all those different things, make us believe that we need to be accessible and available 24/7, which we do not. We do not. Think about the times before we even had technology, what we were doing. We weren't available. I mean, I'm 60s born, 70s, 80s raised. So I've been around here almost 60 years. And so I remember time when the TV used to have that line going across and them little bars that go around the bottom, the TV went off. And it was like, and then you hear the Star Spangled Banner at night. That TV didn't come back on until the morning, right? TV actually went off. It wasn't no internet. Like, we didn't have none of that stuff. So that meant go to bed. That meant go lay down somewhere. Go rest yourself, go have a seat somewhere. And so we do have to learn that sometimes lack of rest can make you bigger. I mean, especially in your midsection. Like I said, that's cortisol doing this thing. It also can affect your awareness, your brain health. It can affect your heart health. Your heart is a muscle, and that muscle works different ways depending on your activity level. So if you're up all night, the heart is still working. What happens when you continue to work a muscle? The muscle gets bigger. So how many people have heard of an enlarged heart? An enlarged heart means that it's not fitting where it's supposed to fit, but it's been up and it's been working. It's a muscle. The heart is a muscle. So the heart begins to work over time. And then we have to go through, different stages and different remedies and maybe medications or surgeries to try and rectify that, when a lot of these things are preventable. A lot of these illnesses or chronic conditions that we develop can be either reversed or slowed down. We want them to be prevented if they have not started happening, but if they have, it doesn't mean it's the end of the line. If you've gone and you've gotten a diagnosis, but just be mindful to be a partner with your healthcare provider. And if you're afraid, I'm not going to say don't be afraid, because, going to the doctor could be a scary thing. Because like every time I come here, you got 17 things that's wrong with me. That's why I don't want to come. I don't want to be up in here, because you keep writing this stuff down, So that's, we don't want to get to the point to where we just don't go, but I get it. I understand it. We understand that at Girl Trek. We understand that it's not always a happy place, for us as people, first of all. Second, as Black women, right? We're behind the 8 ball when it comes to a whole lot of conditions. We're behind the 8 ball. Do we need all of those numbers to let us know? No, we don't need to, to go, over all of the numbers. We know that. But what begins to happen is, we know medically, and if we have any of the medical professionals out there, got to say this again, this is for entertainment purposes only. But medically, we're treated differently. We really are. We're treated differently. So when you become knowledgeable about your body, go to the doctor, especially if you have insurance. Now, if you don't have insurance, find a free clinic. We're in the Chicagoland area, one of the best places. Now, you don't argue with me, because this is true. One of the best places where you're going to get some of the best medical service in the world is Stroger Hospital. It's Cook County Hospital. If you go down there now, I'm not going to say it won't be no shenanigans, malarkey, and foolishness happening around the building or in the emergency room, but you're going to get good care. So even if you don't have health coverage, there are mobile units. You can, just Google, mobile units. You can even go to a hospital and ask them, do you have a mobile unit that does blood pressure screening, it does kidney screening? I just went to an event last Saturday, and they were doing the blood pressure screening, they were doing kidney screenings, and cholesterol. They were doing cholesterol screenings. So right there, and it was free. The event, and you just came right in, and there's a mobile unit that goes out. So even if you start to establish a baseline to where you are in your health journey, your wellness journey, it's a place to start. It's a place to start. It's a frustrating position to be in when something has just totally blown up, like whatever it is, whatever condition. Once those symptoms have reached a certain place to where they're no longer warning signs, it's like, all right, you didn't listen to the warning signs. Now we got to sit you down, right? Now we got to just explode on you. When you get there, in the midst of that trauma, right? So in the midst of, the triage, especially if you end up coming through an emergency room, in the midst of that, it is hard to think of when this started happening. It is hard to think of the other things, because you don't have a timeline. Like, you don't have notes about how many other things happened before this one just totally just crashed out on you, right? Whatever was going on with you. If you start to develop that timeline, your wellness timeline, your health timeline, even if you are not going to the doctor. I mean, I hope you are, but even if you're not going to the doctor, at least establish it for yourself, so you can have some kind of idea of, of what's going on in your body. That is very important. A lot of us come from an era where our parents were not sharing health histories. One, because they didn't know. They didn't know their own health history because they were at work, right? They didn't have time to go to the doctor, so they didn't know. And another, a child stayed in the child's place. So you didn't need to know all that stuff. And so if you have parents who have passed on, but did not pass you that health information, it's like you going in as a blank slate now. So you're going in there as a blank slate, and you have to create what's going to be passed on to the generations, behind you. So at least have that established. And so what Girl Trek is doing is allowing us to, one, have access to quality information from heavy hitters in all of the fields. You heard the way Morgan was talking. If you weren't on here, we're talking about Girl Trek. If you want more information about the largest global health movement for Black women, go to girltrek.org. We're discussing self-care school and what we're going to be doing over these next hours. Well, it's a 10-week self-care school, but it's going to take us past the actual graduation of self-care school. So I encourage you to go to myselfcareschool.org so that you can be on time with the different lessons on a daily basis. We're going to cover them from the beginning until we just finish here in the self-care suite, because I just thought about this the other day. Like, why didn't I bring self-care school here? But we're going to do it. We're going to make sure that we cover all of the things. You don't have to wait until every Sunday, but if this is the only time that you have, then come in on every Sunday at 3 p.m. because I want to make sure that you get as much information as possible to be able to arm yourself with the can I say that? With the tools. Ooh, I was about to say that. I don't want to get flat. But we want so that you can arm yourself with the right tools to increase your self-care backpack, your self-care suitcase, your self-care toolbox, your self-care arsenal. We want to make sure that you have so many things in there to pull from that you be like, okay, well, I'm not able to do this. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm not able to do this. And that's what we're doing in this space. We are sharing, we are exchanging useful, cost-effective, sustainable self-care strategies to help us to increase our self-care tools. And the financial challenges, not saying that they don't exist because they do, financial challenges, but they should not stop you from continuously investing into your wellness account. That's where we come in here in the self-care suite. We want to make sure that you have something that won't even cost you a penny. You're going to have something in there that won't even cost you a penny. Why? Because we got self-care at home. We got self-care at home. So that's what we want to do. We'll also have, and I don't know if she's on here or not, Glamorous. I don't know if you're in here, but we are also gonna, we have someone special that we're gonna be visiting who's creating a home oasis. Now, will your, if you decide to take on a project like that, would it be the same as hers? Maybe not. But what we want to do is we're going to invite other people in, but we're starting with one project, right? So she's creating a home oasis, but we also want everyone else to know that there are some things that you can do at home. You can do at home to create a sanctuary space or a sacred space where you can indulge in, invest in your self-care. Like you already have the space. Even if it's a closet, if all you have is like an actual toolbox, or an actual bag or an actual backpack, if all of your self-care tools are in there, or as many as possible are in there, even if your space is temporary, you got to pack up, just like I'm a camper. So I don't know who camps. I'm a camper and I'm a hiker. But sometimes, depending on where you're going, depending on where you're hiking, you got to pack your backpack up. You sleep there for the night, pack your backpack up, you get up, you hike a little bit more, set up camp in the next spot. Once you're done there for the night, you pick up. So even if there are temporary spaces that you need to occupy, you can still indulge and enjoy your self-care in those temporary spaces. And that's what we want to do here in the self-care suite. We're just going to use the Girl Trek Self-Care School to ground ourselves, and that's where we'll get our physical movement. So we're going to be here on Sundays. This is where we are Sundays, 3 p.m. Y'all pray for me because this is what I said at the beginning of the year I'm going to do. Sundays are my chill days. So this is a part of the sacrifice that I'm okay making, at least today, because it's just May. So I don't know how I feel because I haven't done this over a summer. Like I said, my Sundays are sacred, and those are times I spend out in my hammock. So some of these self-care conversations are going to come from the hammock. Sometimes I'm at the beach. Sometimes I'm sitting in the park. Sometimes I'm in the woods. So some of these self-care conversations are going to come from those other spaces because I don't like being confined, especially not, like I said, Sunday is just my chill day. It is my chill day, but that's what I was given. I mean, I move on what I'm given, right? I want to be obedient to the assignments that I'm given, especially when I'm, reaching out to help my people. So that's the assignment. So y'all pray for me that I'm able to stick with it. I mean, I believe I do. I believe I can stick with it, but I'm just letting y'all know Sunday is my chill day. Sunday is my chill day. So sometimes we just gonna chill. We're gonna chill. We're gonna breathe. Sometimes we're gonna chill. We're gonna listen to some music. Sometimes we're gonna chill. We're just gonna watch some waves somewhere because that's what I do. Those are the things that I do. But I made this commitment because I want people to have a space and to have a place where they're gonna be able to go to at least once a week, if no other time. Preferably, you can invest in your wellness and in your self-care every day. But if not, once a week, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, if you know, okay, the self-care suite is going to be open, let me go in there and see what I can either get or see what I can give, because we're sharing in this space. I don't want to come into the space every week and I'm like, okay, this is what you do this week. That's not what we're doing. We're building a community. We're building a community of self-care crusaders, right? We want to make sure that we would know what to do if the community wasn't there. So we want to build the community and we want to exchange some ideas. We've had people to share that taking naps because, baby, like my cousin Cecilia says, naps can help you make good decisions. Sometimes naps is all you have. You can take you some naps. 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there. So if you don't have an hour that you can stretch out and just say, oh, I'm just not going to do anything for an hour, I'm just going to lay here. You may not have that, but do you have 4 15-minute breaks throughout the day? So sometimes you got to be a little bit, one, radical with your self-care, and another, creative. You may have to, slip it in. You may have to slip it in. Another self-care strategy that someone else shared is listen to podcasts, right? Listening to these podcasts that are, they can be spiritual, they can be psychological, they can be emotional, they can be different kind of podcasts, but all feeding into you improving your self-care. So we got naps, we got the podcast. Some people talked about grounding. So that's something I said I was going to try, but I just have this theme about grounding in the public space. That's just me, because I'm thinking about all the the feet that have been down there and all the pets that have done stuff. So for me, I said I'll start in my own backyard, like literally. And that's where we coming from in this self-care suite. We got self-care at home. So I'll start there. So I haven't, hi Michelle, how are you? So I have not started grounding and I want to try it. So that's something, that I'm going to start to incorporate. Some people is drinking more water. We have people who just don't even drink water. They don't drink water. Some don't drink water at all in a day. They may drink water every 2 or 3 days. But if increasing your water intake, getting it up to what is recommended, right? So it's half your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, 100 ounces. Now, there are people out who have done these challenges. So I'll just share with you my experience with that. Have these gallon a day challenges. Child, I did that before. That was not my ministry. It was not my ministry. So a gallon is 128 ounces. So that means the person who is 256 pounds, that's their minimum. I'm not 256 pounds. But I was like, okay, I'm in this challenge. And you give me a challenge, I'm going to go for it, right? And it was just not good for me. It did not turn out well for me to drink that much water in a day. My body didn't require that. Even with movement, even with exercise, even with me sweating, my body did not require me to drink a gallon a day. But I'm going to thug it out, right? Look, I said I was going to do this for 30 days. It was not a good turnout for me. But that was for me to learn, to know, yeah, I'm going to pass on that, right? I'm going to pass on that. So if I see another gallon a day challenge, I'm not going to stop anybody else from doing it. But I did it. So I know for me, a gallon a day is not for me. It's going to put me in more of a, I'm not going to say danger zone, but it's going to put me in a zone that's not healthy for me. It's not helping me for me to do that. So if I'm using the baseline of half my body weight in ounces per day, 128 ounces is half of 256. I'm not 256 pounds, so I should not have been drinking that gallon a day. But I just stuck it out. But that was me seeing it from beginning to end and seeing that was not good for me because my body had to process it. That means I'm diluting, my electrolytes. I'm swelling up. It was just too much. I was retaining the water. It was just too much. It was too much water for me. But I stuck it out for the entire 30 days and I was able to see myself that, So hydration, is another. So if you want to work on your hydration, your body has 11 systems. So even if you pick one system a month, you got enough to keep you busy. For an entire year. You can mix it up on that last month and, you can allow your body to rest and just see how did everything work out, right? You do the first 11 months with those 11 systems. The last month, all right, let's see what has improved, right? You can take a test in the beginning or some tests in the beginning and then test again, once you get, to that 12th month. You can also, do it that way. Somebody else shared playing with their grandchildren, right? So playing. We've gotten so far away from playing, right? We don't know how to laugh. If you were listening, if you heard the podcast earlier, when, part of that self-care evaluation and self-care survey was, when was the last time you laughed so hard, that your stomach started hurting, right? Like you were laughing. We've gotten so serious and we've gotten so anxious about so many things that we don't know how to laugh. Like some people don't even know how to laugh anymore. Like, it's not funny. Like everything is serious. We're so critical and we canceling people. Like it's so much going on. It's a lot going on. So sometimes laughter, going to comedy shows. I love going to live comedy shows. I ain't sitting in the front though. I don't mess with them like that. I don't love them like that. I don't love them like that, but live comedy shows, going to listen to live music. I love concerts outside, in the summertime. All of those things are a part of what I use to pour into my self-care. So again, we don't want you to feel so restricted that you just think self-care is, I gotta go to this spa, I gotta get away, I gotta get on this plane. Sometimes, and if you think about it, and I'm not saying not do this, but just think about this. We get creative here, right? Why? Because we got self-care at home in the self-care suite. We got self-care at home. But just think, if you spent $5,000, because that can easily happen. You spent $5,000 even if you paid it over a year's time. You spent $5,000 to go on a trip for 7 days, right? What would have happened if you would have invested that $5,000 in your own space at home? What could you have done with that $5,000? Now, again, I'm not saying don't do that, but just think about it. We are getting creative with our self-care. If we're looking at finances, even if it took a year, you still saved up enough money or paid in enough money to spend the $5,000 to go somewhere for a week. How long would that $5,000 had gone if you would have invested it into your own space, in your own home, and recreated whatever it was that you went to for those 7 days? Because once you come back, sure, the experiences, I'm all for experiences over things, hands down, I'm for experiences. But if you think about it like that, like how much more could I have gotten out of that $5,000 in terms of investing in my self-care, in my toolbox, in my arsenal, in my backpack, if I would have put those $5,000, in the space that I already have? Sometimes you got to use what you got to get what you want, but we need to share. We need to be in community so that we can help one another figure those things out. Sometimes it doesn't dawn on you. Just like now, I didn't even think about bringing the self-care school here to the self-care suite until last week. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I think of that in the beginning? Because that's something I'm committed to. I'm committed to the 10 weeks, but just didn't think to bring it to the self-care suite. But that's what we're doing here. So that's going to be our framework. So if you come back in the following weeks and you decide that you want to walk with it while you're listening here, you can walk with it, or you can just listen like we did today. You can just listen to the podcast that we're on that particular day, and then we'll have a discussion about it after the fact. You can do it either way. But again, you want to go to myselfcareschool.org. That's where you're going so that you can register. It's free. It's over 1 million women. I think we're 1.6 or 1.4. I got to get the right numbers, but we're over 1 million Black women. Because natural face looking good. Thank you so much. But we're Black women that are out, and we're encouraging and we're supporting one another, and we're holding one another accountable to take care of ourselves. Because if you dropped and was today, right now, and you got a job that you were supposed to be at tomorrow, they're going to say, that's so sad. That was such a nice person, but who can do this job, right? The company's not going to miss a beat. The company's not going to, unless you are the company. Now, if you are the entrepreneur, you're the only employee, then sure, the company's going to take a hit. But if you're working with somebody else and you checked out of here, or you just became, severely debilitated and you were not able to perform whatever, job that you were performing for that particular company, yeah, they're gonna keep going. They're gonna keep going, right? Will they step over you? Some of them that cold, they might. If you crashed out, or if you ended, your life ended on the job, because people have done it. People have actually become expired on the actual job. They get you out on that stretcher, notify your family, your job is up. Your job is up, for somebody else to come in and do the job. So you have to think about that. And especially if you have children, you want to look at the messages that you are sending your children with the way that you take care of yourself. You teach people how to treat you. So that's like, an understood principle. The way things operate, what you do to you, you invite other people to do to you. So when other people know that you have boundaries, when other people know that you're like, that's not going to work for me. That's not going to work for me. Then, they'll tend to back up. Or you have some that don't care. They'll still try and cross those boundaries. But that's when you got to stand 10 toes down. Like, yeah, about that, that's not going to work for me. So no is one of those things that people struggle with. And, we do this, we talk about this, in the self-care suite, because I do trainings with community mental health workers. And so we talk about those unique ways, to be able to say no and still protect yourself and not feel guilty about it, because a lot of people feel guilty about saying no because they feel, well, I'm in a position, I have the ability to, and so I'm going to do this. But then you are holding these resentments because you had to dig into some time that you wanted to do something else. Like, well, really, I was just going to watch this show and then I figured I can go over there. Yeah, but if you want to watch your show, watch your show. That's what you should be doing. If you want to read your book, read your book. If that was time that you carved out for yourself, take the time that you have carved out for yourself. And you don't have to feel guilty about it. This is about your self-care. Because again, if it's a person or if it's people who are asking for things from you, if you don't have it, they'll ask somebody else. They'll ask somebody else. They'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. They will be okay. One way that you can do it, I'll share this because I'm about to shut down in about 5 more minutes. But one of those unique ways that, I like to discuss, with people in terms of, and we're going to just say family, just for the sake of simplicity. So if you're the one in the family that people call because they have in their heads created these unlimited resources that you have, and yes, we talk about financial. In their head, they have created, you are the baller, right? You the baller and you got it going on. So in their head, they figure you can just give it to them. But what is not being considered is nobody just gave it to you. You didn't inherit it, you went to work for it. So if you went to work for it, that means you earned it. And so for whatever reason, I don't know, because I'm not in the brains of people like that, but I'm just guessing. I'm taking a guess here. They're feeling that since you have it, it shouldn't be a problem for you to give it away. But even if you have it and it's in the surplus, it's yours. You get a chance to make that decision. So one way to challenge that, now what my mother would say to me, to us, her kids, that you shouldn't give somebody something that you really can't afford to part with. So if you're really saying, well, I'm giving you, I'm loaning you my rent money. If you cannot afford to part with your rent money, you do not do that. Because what you have to look at, and this is how she taught us, what you have to look at, if they're coming to you asking for something, they apparently don't have it. So are you really going to take a chance on something that you really need for somebody who doesn't have it? Even if they made the promise, well, I'll give it back to you, when I get, at that particular moment, they don't have it. So that's how you want to judge it before you make the decision if you're going to give it to them. So she would always say, give it to them, even if it's a loan, give it to them with no expectations of getting it back. And if you're not able to do that, then don't loan it. Don't loan it. So that's one way, of looking at it, so that you can be okay and not hold resentments because somebody wasn't able to pay you back because then the light bill that was unexpected came through and then they still couldn't give it back to you. So that's one way. Another thing that she taught us was, if you don't give them everything, so if, say, for instance, if somebody came and they were asking for, well, these new people, child, they be asking for $500. They don't be saying 25, but I'm just going to say, just round it off. Okay, so if somebody came and asked for $100, right? She would say, don't give them the entire amount. Because if you give them the entire amount, you're going to be the first person that they come looking for if that situation happens again. Don't give them the entire amount and see how they can figure it out. And, through the years, you get to trying that out. It could work. It could work out. Or you ask them to give you a few days. Now, depending on where you come from, I'm not judging anybody's situation, your friends or your family, because some people cuss you out. If you say, well, can I get back to you next week? Well, I'm asking you for it right now. But that's another strategy. Can I get back to you? Can you give me 24 hours? Can you give me 48 hours? So that's not necessarily saying no, because sometimes when people have it and they say no, they do feel bad about that. But if you give yourself enough time to be settled with that in your mind, if that's the decision you're going to go with, just ask them, can I get back to you in a couple of days? Can I get back to you in a couple of days? A lot of times they work it out. They work it out. And by the time you get back to them, they've already worked it out. So you have to look at that too, because when you start to make somebody else's emergency yours, you're putting yourself again behind the 8 ball to have your anxiety high, to have your stress level high, for you to hold these resentments. So you want to be creative with that part of your self-care. No is a substantial part of your self-care if you say yes to so much. That's just the bottom line. If you say yes to so much, so many times, no is a part of your self-care. No is a part of your self-care that needs to be implemented so that you can protect yourself. Because we get older every day. So generally when you get older, different things impact you different ways, and it's not necessarily for the best. Wisdom, sure, your wisdom is going to, increase, and that is a good thing. But along with that increased wisdom, you're able to protect yourself on those other levels the psychological, the emotional, the physical, the financial, whatever it is that's going on, your wisdom is able to help you to protect yourself in those other spaces. So we're going to shut this down. If nobody has any questions, I have another event that I need to get to. But if nobody has any questions, I do want to thank you. And if you're just joining, I am Coach Robin Renee, your hostess in the Self-Care Suite, where we come and discuss the many ways to wellness. We also share sustainable, useful, cost-effective self-care strategies. We understand that we can have financial challenges, but they should not stop us. They should not prevent us from investing into our wellness accounts on a daily basis. I'm going to throw that in on a daily basis because why? We got self-care at home. And when we got self-care at home, we can do the best that we can with the tools that we have. Even if there are limited resources, we want to always have something that we can pull from those toolboxes to invest into our wellness account so that we can increase our self-care practices. So if nobody has any questions, I'm going to end this. I'm going to shut down. I'm on 2 different platforms, so that's why you see me looking up and looking down. We are here. I was about to say Mondays and Fridays, child. That's Pilates. That's the Pilates class. So I'll tell you about that in a minute. But we're here in the Self-Care Suite Sundays at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we're inviting you to come back. Again, we will be attending Girl Trek's Self-Care School here in the Self-Care Suite. If you are keeping up with the live podcast, you'll just be coming back for a review and to have conversations. And on the Mondays and Fridays, I am a Pilates teacher, so I'm your mindful movement guide through your Pilates journey. I'm live on the top, not on two. I'm live on the top Mondays and Fridays at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. And so you're always welcome to come and flow with us. So I'll give you guys maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute to let me know if you have any questions, if you have any comments, and then we're gonna land this plane. And I can't turn on music because the tubers, well, not you all, but the platform may flag me. So I want to see if we have anyone that has any questions. We don't have anyone that have any questions. So I do want to thank you for joining. No comments, no questions. And you can always hit me up, in my inbox if you got questions about something that you heard today or something that just came up, or something that, you may want to see. You may want to be a guest in the Self-Care Suite. We welcome it. We welcome it. But I don't think we have anybody with anything. All right. So tubers, we are going to sign off from the tube, and then we'll sign off from the top because sometimes the tubers, let me check and see. The tube, not you all, the platform. The platform be putting these flags on here. I don't think they gave me any flags. What? Oh, all right, sorry, y'all. I don't know. I'm pushing buttons. All right, tubers, let me let you all go. So you all go out and be greater than you were 90 minutes ago. Thank you all for joining me here in the Self-Care Suite. We'll see you next Sunday. Peace out.